If you're in the market for a Chevy or GMC HD, this might be a good time to start looking to get a good deal because there could be some shortages coming really soon. And I borrowed this beautiful Denali Ultimate here from Jerry Seiner GMC in South Jordan, Utah. This truck is available for sale. Be sure to text Frank if you would like to get pricing on it. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker really quickly, and then we're going to jump right into the video. At the very top is the description, and this is the titanium rush metallic, and then this is going to be a short listing of the standard features. Now base price comes in at $97,600, and the only options on this one is the fifth wheel, gooseneck, and titanium rush. Destination is $27.95 for a total price of $101,435. I found this article on GMAuthority.com. It says here American axle strike might soon cripple Chevy and GMC HD production. General Motors heavy-duty truck production could soon face a significant challenge as a strike at supplier American Axle threatens the flow of critical components used in the Chevy and GMC HD. Approximately 1,000 UAW represented workers at American Axle's Three Rivers, Michigan facility walked off the job after contract negotiations stalled. The plant produces axles destined for GM's Flint assembly plant, where the automaker builds the Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 2500 and 3500 HDs. Now personally, this makes me a little nervous for people who work in factories simply because of the use of robots and the fact that AI is really becoming an issue even in what I do. Like, there are a lot of new channels popping up that are basically AI, and people eat that stuff up. So I can see how the elites in the world are trying to find ways to cut out the man. So if you're someone working in these types of jobs, it's a good time to start looking at other opportunities that you can do maybe as a secondary income, because it's not long from now where these jobs won't matter and they don't have to pay these people anymore, which is really sad. According to a report from Detroit Free Press, Flint Assembly receives roughly 7 truckloads of axles each day to support production, while GM reportedly stockpiled about 2 weeks of inventory ahead of the strike. Industry observers warn that a prolonged work stoppage could force the automaker to idle one of its most profitable assembly operations. It's a big monster of money, UAW Local 598 Chairman Eric Welter told the Free Press. There's a lot on the line for GM with this strike. The timing is particularly problematic given strong demand for heavy-duty pickups. Flint Assembly recently added overtime production and is expected to operate 3 shifts, 6 days per week for the foreseeable future. The facility employs roughly 4,200 hourly workers and builds more than 1,100 HD pickups daily when running at full capacity. GM acknowledged the situation in a statement. You guys can read it. I don't care to read that because it's the same generic one that you always see in the news. Now, the potential disruption would hit the Chevy and GMC HDs at a time when dealer inventories remain tight. Now, real quickly, I find that a little hard to believe simply because I'm on the overflow lot because they have a lot of trucks on the main lot. So I don't know. The market obviously is still pretty darn good despite what you see in the news. And these trucks do sell, I would say, pretty well because there are more discounts happening, right? These trucks all have some type of rebate, some of which have like close to $5,000 in rebates and $5,000 dealer discounts. I did a video on that. So as far as the inventory goes, if they wrap up this strike within the next couple weeks, this probably won't be an issue at all. But if you don't know, this is the AAM axle, American Axle Manufacturer. So this will not only affect GM, but this could potentially affect Ram too, because Ram uses the same axle. Now, Ford Super Duties use Sterling's and Dana axles, so they're not going to have any issues with inventory problems with their truck. So let's go ahead and read a little bit more of this article, and then I'll kind of give you guys a few closing remarks here. Dealers interviewed by the Free Press said heavy-duty truck supply is already below demand. with the vehicles generating substantially higher profits than their light-duty counterparts. The strike stems from a long-running dispute over wages. Union leaders argue employees accepted dramatic pay cuts during the 2008 financial crisis to help keep the plant open and are now seeking compensation that better reflects the supplier's improved financial position. We did it to save the company. We did more than save them. We made them billions of dollars. So tonight it's about getting our fair share. Do you guys remember how much this truck cost? It's over $100,000. I want to say when you were looking at these trucks back in 2024 when they got refreshed, they couldn't even get there unless you were getting a long bed dually. Now you can get there with this spec. And this isn't even the most expensive truck. If you get an AT4X for the AAV edition, it's $110,000. And there was a time just 6 years ago where you could barely get a Denali trim back in 2020 when they redesigned this truck over $90,000. So here we are, and people are looking for compensation, right? These manufacturers definitely went through a tough time during the 2008 crisis when the housing market crashed. The car market just absolutely got destroyed. And so the manufacturers have to make a decision, and not just auto manufacturers. I think every company, I would even say, even for Google, like my income has gone down a lot for YouTube, which is why I've done other things on the side, because I could not live just off of this income. I could, but like, you know, I love what I do, but I also want to get compensated for it, right? I don't want to work for free. But the reality is, it seems as though greed is on the rise, whether it be auto manufacturers, whether it be anyone. I mean, you're seeing it more and more. The rich are getting richer, and there's definitely a smaller middle class. Like some of our friends that we hang out with combined have an income under $100,000. And that shocked me when they said that, because here in Utah, 10 years ago, you could live, you know, probably combined income for 60 grand and actually live not necessarily comfortable, but pretty comfortable, I would say, for the most part. You're not going out and buying this type of truck. But it seems as though everything has gotten more expensive, but it seems as though there's a squeeze. And I think that it's time that we start talking about this more, because it is more expensive to live, right? But what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think this is going to affect GM and their inventory? I don't personally think that they have an issue, but it's very possible if this continues on, they could start to see less inventory, which means as the supply goes down, what normally happens to demand, right? It goes up. And what happens is dealerships start pricing these trucks a little bit higher. The manufacturer doesn't have to incentivize them as much because there's not as much inventory, which means you pay more as a consumer. So I don't know. I think that this might get wrapped up in a week or two, but I figured it's something to think about if you are someone looking to get in the market soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. See you soon. Oh, hold on. I stopped that way too quickly. So I still show Payload, so we're gonna do that really quickly. You guys saw the options and features. The only thing that's on this truck really is the 5th wheel gooseneck prep. And this truck, obviously the gross axle weight rating is gonna be 5,600 pounds. The rear is 7,250 pounds, 12.1 gross vehicle weight rating, 20 by 8.5 wide. Wheels, all in Payload, is 3,667 pounds. Not bad for a top of the line truck. 20K conventional towing, 21.6 for gooseneck. This truck weighs 8,433 pounds on the curb. 30,000 pound gross combined weight rating. Tire pressure is here, 60 out front, 80 in the rear. Lastly, here is the rating for a bed camper, which is 2,917 pounds. So yeah, if you will let me do a refresher review. I just pulled this truck really quickly because I haven't seen a Titanium Rush Denali Ultimate in a long time. So I figured I'd let you guys know it's available. You guys know most of the features on these trucks. They're really nice. So now, see you guys soon.